Man, if you guys saw this week's episode of All Out, episode 8, I can guarantee you a lot of you will be pissed off what happened in this episode. Now, I'm not saying that it was a bad episode, but it's what happened with particular characters that makes you want to strangle a few of them. What is up, guys? Today I come to you yet with another weekly review of All Out, and I do have to say I'm sorry that I was unable to upload this yesterday. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, so we ate and have fun, and there was no time to get in like a space in between to upload. So it's here today, but nonetheless, I'm still able to do review, so that's a good thing. Now in this week's episode, we have another practice match, and this time against a school that ranked second at the preliminaries, and this school is Sagami's rugby team. Now this is a very strong school, just like Keijo, and this is a school that Jinko's rugby team has never faced off against, for what we know, for the 3 years that particularly Sekizan and Hachiyoji and the others have been on the team. So this is their first time facing against them outside of an official match. So one thing I can say for this team is, like, their coach in particular is quite the fanboy of, our coach here. So you're thinking, okay, it's going to probably be a friendly match. Now, before I can get into that, I want to talk about, like, the first, say, 3 minutes of the episode. Now, we were introduced to the advisor, who I cannot remember his name at the time, because he is one of the characters that I want to strangle. Now, this advisor, when we always thought, okay, since he does not, like, show himself to the team, and he's not the person that tells them updates or anything, we kind of had the suspicion that he did not care for the rugby team. And if you had those suspicions, well, those suspicions were proven to be true. He does not care for Jinko's rugby team at all. All he thinks is these kids playing around with a ball, rolling around in mud and getting themselves dirty. He does not think the game that they are playing is serious, that they themselves are serious. And he comes with this excuse saying that he left them alone so that they can be independent. But I love how quickly Coach Komori, the boss, completely shut him down on that notion. To paraphrase what he said to him was like, you can expect these kids who you left alone by themselves to grow independently as individuals, okay? What you have to do as the adult, since you are the advisor of this team, is that basically you have to set out a plan. He says you have to make them start from the starting line. And then you give them directions, telling them, like, point A, point B, point C. And then once you have basically laid out the foundations, everything that is needed for them to grow, that's when you can set them out on their journey, and then they can for themselves find that finish line. But you cannot just expect them to, you say, here, just take this and do whatever you want, and expect them to be able to understand what is needed for that plan. A plan needs to have basic foundation. It needs to have a layer where they, like a building block. And for these kids, they are kids, no matter how old they are kids. They do need the guidance, which the advisor has completely lacked. As an educator and as an adult, he failed to be able to do that. So I love how Coach Komori was able to tell him that. Now we get into the game, and this team, Sagami, while they are strong, they are good. This team pissed me the hell off. They make barely legal plays, first of all, and they provoke and physically abuse Jinko's team. Now, in particular, two characters that were really hit the most in this episode was Sumiyaki and Oharano. Now for Sumiyaki, we all know that for him to really get underneath his skin, you have to speak ill about Miyuki. Now there was this character on Sagami who was voice acted by the person who did Nagisa from Free. You can totally see the switch of the voice. Like, Nagisa was like, all cheerful, and then we see this guy who's malicious, and I don't like him at all. I don't like none of Sagami's players at all, and I hope they do get beaten. This guy seems pretty salty. He played against Miyuki and Sumiyaki when they were in middle school, and his team lost against their team. And he even tells Sumiyaki, like, why didn't you injure Miyuki sooner? Because when Miyuki was injured, their teams, Sumiyaki's team, lost in the championship, the finals, the semifinals. But this guy's team, they lost against Miyuki's team, so that's why he was not able to take part of the championships. But he's telling Sumiyaki, who cares greatly for Miyuki, that he should have injured him sooner, resulting in Sumiyaki nearly wanting to physically fight him, which he had to be held back. Now we have Oharano. Now we know him as a character that's very cool, collected, he's reserved. He is kind of funny too, if we remember him in the last 2 episodes before, how he was screaming he didn't want to be part of the back lineup and get into the scrum. He didn't want to get into that. He started screaming. It was quite funny. But what we didn't know about his character was, we got some background story about him, and the fact that he has a little brother. We don't know particularly how much younger his brother is, but we could probably assume around the 2 to 3 year or 4 year mark of being younger than him. And we have one of where Sagami's players were provoking him, saying that, how is your little bratty brother doing? Because of you, he quit playing rugby. So my guess is that because, Oharano has been playing since he was in elementary school, and he is so good, possibly even better than even the 2nd and 3rd years on Jinko's team, and the fact that he was so good, his little brother, who also played the game, possibly got jealous and quit the game. He quit playing rugby because he felt like that he could never compare to Oharano, and that's something he has been carrying with him for many years. And this throws him off his game for after he was told that. You start seeing him become more aggressive. You saw that he's no longer keeping a cool head, and the fact that he messed up his kickoff. He messed that out, something that we never seen him do for the short time that we've seen him in the show. He has not messed that up. And the fact that he had to be taken out of the game because he could not keep his head cool, and he's starting to, take his frustrations and his anger out on his own teammates. So it's like this team is, using that as their advantage of trying to get underneath these players' skins so that they can start messing them up, and also doing things that are not legal in the game of rugby. Now, remember, I don't understand rugby all that much, but whatever players they're making, it's something that's on a very thin line. Now, all I hope for next week's episode is that, somehow they change the ties. One thing I did notice about this episode is that we rarely saw Sekizan, and I was wondering, where is he? Is he in the background observing anything and getting, angry because of what Sagami's team is doing? And is he, making up plans, tactics to overturn Sagami's tactics, and in hopes that they can win this practice match, and so that show them that Jinko is not as weak as you think we are? Or, are we going to have where they're going to put Gion in the game and try to turn the times? It's all up for the next episode. It's all up in the air at this point. But so far, I just got really angry just watching this episode. It was a good episode, a good build-up, and it left on a cliffhanger. So we're just hoping how next week's episode is going to be. But hopefully Jinko does win this practice match and show them that this is a newly formed Jinko team, not the ones that you always saw back in the past. And we're not going to be, belittled and just taking all your crap for what all you said and did. So if you guys saw this week's episode of All Out, episode 8, do tell me in the comment section below on how you felt about this week's episode. What are your predictions for the next episode? And the links are in the description box as always, so you guys can go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!